Today is 14th October and we are going to start Paripurna Daily Current Affairs discussion. Today we are going to discuss 7 very important articles. Out of this 6 are related to the important for the prelims and the last one is related to the mains. First important article is regarding the civil registration system. Second is regarding Nobel Prize in Economics. Third is related to snow leopard. Fourth is a very important trend we have observed in the inflation, so that we will discuss. Fifth is important place Sharm el Sheikh is in the news. As you know, UPSC asks a lot of questions on the important location, especially in the international relations. Then the sixth article will be the deep sea offshore fisheries. Niti Aayog have published one report on it, so that important recommendations we are going to discuss on it. And lastly, there is an editorial article in the Hindu, today's newspaper, that is estimation of India's potential GDP. This article also comprehensively we will discuss. So let us start with the first article, that is the civil registration system. First of all, we need to know what is the context of this particular article. The context is, see, Registrar General of India, which comes under Ministry of Home Affairs, have released one statistics based on the report of 2023 civil registration, that civil registration system. Under this, the report of 2023, based on it, they have released one data. Okay. What this civil registration system is, it's nothing but the record of 3 important parameters and related to demography only, but the most important parameters are birth, death, and the third is sex ratio. These 3 important demographic data is recorded under the civil registration system. So under this is the context. Under this report, there are some important facts which we have observed in this particular report. One is that there is slight increase in the death rate. Marginal increase in death rate. There is decline in the birth rate. See, these are very small report. UPSC will ask question on the specific year-wise increase or decrease. That's very rare chance. Generally, UPSC asks trend over decade, or they can ask for trend in 5 years. Such kind of question UPSC can ask, but for 1 year they may not ask it, right? So just for understanding purpose only, for exam purpose it's not very important. Okay, this is important. However, here one important fact which we can use in our mains is that institutional delivery, or you can say institutional birth, this we have recorded 75%. It is 74.7%, but you can use as 75%. This you can use in Indian society questions related to health, like the how health infrastructure is increasing. So this point you can use as the substantiation of your point. Next important data is related to sex ratio at birth. As you know, sex ratio is number of female per 1000 male birth. Out of 1000 male birth, how many female are getting birth? That is called as the sex ratio, right? So in this, one point you have to remember, the lowest sex ratio is in Bihar, which is 899, and since 2020 it's consistent Bihar. The highest sex ratio we have observed in Arunachal Pradesh, which is 1085. Okay, this data is not very important, but the highest and lowest you can remember. Okay, so this was related to the civil registration system. Most importantly, you need to remember it is released by the Registrar General of India under the Ministry of Home Affairs. You may get confused with Ministry of Health, so please remember this fact. Okay, let's go to the next article. Next article is related to the Nobel Prize in Economics. This year's Nobel Prize in Economics 2025 has been given to these 3 economists, Joel Mokyr, Agian and Howitt. For what purpose? See, names is not that important for UPSC, but what is important here is why this Nobel Prize has been given. This Nobel Prize for economics has been given because of their explanation, or their what you can say, that the explanation regarding sustenance of economic growth. Economic growth, what does that mean? See, if you see industrial revolution, pre-industrial revolution and post-industrial revolution. Before industrial revolution, which took place in mid 18th century, before that, the growth rate of economic growth rate was more or less stagnant, or it was declining. It was not always growing, or the growth rate was not that high. However, after industrial growth, what we have observed, that humanity have able to achieve the economic growth. If you see the GDP in, let's say, the 1850s, and if you see the GDP in 2025, global GDP have increased substantially. We have seen the growth rate. Definitely there has been the downs also occasionally. For example, in 1927 that decline, then 2009 around we have the decline. During the corona, that is 2020, we saw the decline, but overall it have seen significant growth. These economists have identified the reason behind such growth. According to them, innovation driven economic growth has been the reason behind such sustained economic growth. Innovation driven economic growth. What it is? It is the application of scientific principles, scientific analysis of data, use of technology. These all things have led to the sustained growth in economy. So this has been the important reason. Coming to the what are the more features or the more findings of their study. See, one important concept here given is called as the creative destruction. This is very important concept. It can be asked in the mains or prelims also. What is mean by the creative destruction? See, creative destruction means the fundamental or significant change in the economic structure. For example, as you seen earlier, there were a lot of retail shops. Their dominance was there. Now we see the change. Online trading is increasing. Online shopping, for example, that Zepto or the Instamart, these all things are changing the retail. So retail business, which is the brick business, you can say, the retail shops, offline shops, their growth or their relevance is declining economically. However, online is increasing. So one way these sector have gone destruction, right? They got destructed. However, it is replaced by another sector which have more productivity or efficiency. So what is happening is that though this form of business have destructed, but it was destructed creatively such a way that the new form of business, new form of trading have replaced it, which is more productive and efficient. Since these are more productive and efficient, this led to the higher income addition or higher GDP growth, and that way we have sustained this economic growth. Currently you see the artificial intelligence is replacing a lot of sector, right? So this is also an example of creative destruction. The third concept here explained is the cycle of innovation. Cycle of innovation. What is this cycle of innovation? This economist says that, see, whenever there is a new innovation, any company is having new innovation, they got some new innovative product. After this, what happens? They want certain period of monopoly. Why they want? So that they only can sell that particular product and they can get the profit. Because of this, how it is ensured monopoly? Through patents. They get some temporary monopoly. See, remember, this monopoly is not permanent monopoly. This is temporary monopoly for around 15 year, 10 year, like that. So during this period of time, they generate a lot of profit. This profit act as a incentive for the company to innovate more, right? So innovation, when they get the temporary monopoly, it leads to more profit. It incentivizes the companies to innovate more. However, this monopoly is temporary. So what happens after some time? After some time, the competition, as the monopoly will decline, the competition will arise again. This competition will arise again, or the other companies will try to defeat that monopoly by bringing the new innovative product. That way, new innovation will come up. So this way, you see, this is the cycle of innovation which is taking place. Basically, the economists here are justifying the monopoly imposed through the patents, right, which encourage the companies to innovate more. This is also explained under their study of which got them the Nobel Prize. So we have seen this three important thing, how this innovation driven economic growth have sustained the economic growth for long period of time after industrial revolution. Second, what is creative destruction? And third is the cycle of innovation. Okay, let's go to the next article. Next important article is related to the snow leopard. First of all, why this particular article is in the news? It is in the news because of there is one study by New Stanford. New Stanford have released one study which says that there is very less genetic diversity in leopards compared to the other such species like cheetah. Cheetah have higher genetic diversity. However, this snow leopard have the less genetic diversity. Let's understand what this genetic diversity mean. See, genetic diversity means how many different types of genes are present in a particular species. So it is the different types of gene present in a species. If more genetic diversity is there, that means more genes are present, what happens? It increases the ability of that particular species to adapt to a particular environmental condition, to fight the different diseases or the harmful environmental condition. So if a particular species is having more genetic diversity, that species will be able to adopt more. As per the recent study by the Stanford, it says that snow leopard have the low genetic diversity. Its implication would be it will be having the less adaptability. So what is the significance of it? It signifies that we need to conserve this snow leopard in more careful way. Otherwise, in short period of time, they may get extinct. Now the question is why this particular species have less genetic diversity? The two reasons had been identified. One, this particular snow leopard species has been persistently with low population size. As they have low population size, the mating would be limited between few species or the few organisms. Because of the mating between them only, it will lead to inbreeding. Inbreeding means breeding between the siblings. As you know, in humans also, sibling mating or the marriage between the sibling is not advised. Why? Because of that, the genetic diversity reduces. Because see, one parent is there, they have the two child, A and B. This they came from two parents, parent one, parent two. Between the mating of parent one and parent two led to two child, A and B. Both A and B have the genes of parent 1 and parent 2 only. Now they have the similar genes, right? Now if these two species or organism mate with each other, that is the marry with each other, what will happen? The offspring, that is the child, will be having the similar genes. So if they have the similar gene, again the genetic diversity will be less. If genetic diversity is the less, their adaptability, their ability to fight the different diseases will be less. So because of low population, mating is limited. Because of that, inbreeding is there. That's why the species, number of species or the individuals are less. The second is the harmful mutation. What is mutation? Mutation is nothing but the change in the DNA structure. So this is our DNA have certain nucleotide, that is certain portions. If one particular portion changed because of some reason, that leads to the change in the expression. Because your DNA change, because of change in the DNA, now the protein made or the your expression will change. And if it is harmful mutation, this will lead to the even death of that particular individual or species. And that is also one of the reason why the snow leopard population is declining or less. Now let's see some of the facts regarding the snow leopard. First of all, as per the IUCN conservation status, these are vulnerable. Under the CITES appendix, it comes under the appendix 1. If you see the geographical distribution, you see these are distributed in the Asia, around this region. This is India. Here you have the China, in Russia, mostly in the snow areas, in the high altitude area. In India, highest population, remember, is in Ladakh. Okay, Ladakh have the highest population. Then we have in Uttarakhand, we have in Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim. These states have the significant population of snow leopard. Okay, so this was the article related to the snow leopard. If you see some characteristics about this snow leopard, one significant characteristic is that they have long tail. See this, they have very long tail. Why this actually helps them to survive in the high altitude hilly region, because they help to balance their body, so they can climb over the hills also. The some of the threats of this particular snow leopard they are facing, some common threats are like the habitat destruction. Second is the decline in their primary what we can say, the primary prey. What is their primary prey? Their primary prey is this Siberian ibex. Since their population is declining, and because of this, snow leopard population is also declining. And then other reason like the developmental projects like construction, roads, decline in the snow cover, climate change. These all are the reason behind the decline in population of snow leopard. Okay, this was related to the snow leopard. Let's go to the next article, which is related to the inflation. Recently what we have observed is that there is significant decline in the consumer price index, that is the CPI. It came down to 1.54. The last time the lowest was 1.46 in the June 2017. Why it is significant and what would be the implication, we'll see that. Before that, let's understand why. What is the reason behind such a decline? The most important reason is decline in the food prices. Food prices have declined significantly. Secondary, even the fuel price and light, these segment also have seen the decline in the prices around 1.98%. So these has been the reason. Now what would be the implication? What would be the implication of such decline? One thing is that, as we know, GDP and inflation are linked with each other. As inflation increases up to certain level, GDP also increases, and as GDP increases, after a point inflation also start increasing. The second relationship you need to remember is between the inflation and interest rate, that is the policy rate. If interest rate declines, let's say, if interest rate decline, what will happen? Loans will be cheaper, cheap loan will be available. So loans are cheaper, then what will happen? Because of this, more loans will be taken by the people and the companies. That will lead to the increase in the money supply. Money supply may increase. Due to the higher money supply, the more money is available in the market, and because of this, inflation rises. So now, since the CPI has declined significantly, and if you remember, there is one target for RBI, 4% plus 2% and minus 2%. That is, if it is declining below 2%, it is not healthy for GDP, because as we see that if inflation is very low, what it show? If it is low, it shows that there is low demand in the market. That's why it's low. Basically, it indicates that people are not purchasing. That's why the prices are low. Because as the demand is low, GDP will be low. So it should not go below 2%. As you have seen, it has went below 2%. Now RBI, what RBI can do? RBI can reduce this interest rate, policy rate, so that the money supply will increase and inflation can increase from 1.54. So that is the monetary policy implication we can observe due to such kind of trend. Next important aspect here, I think we have discussed all aspect of this inflation. Within this you can see it. Okay. Next important article is related to the places in news, which is the Sharm el Sheikh. Why it is in the news? There are many events are taking place, and recently there is an event, Peace in the Middle East event, which took place in here, Sharm el Sheikh. Now first of all, where it is located? This particular place is located in Egypt. It is in this place is located in Egypt. That you have to remember. Now if you see the important location in the Egypt, you can this is India, and this is this particular region, this is Africa. This is, you have the Africa, and here you have the this particular the what it is? Egypt. It is Egypt, and here you have the Sharm el Sheikh. This region is very important because, as you know, this is Red Sea, and here you have the Suez Canal, and this particular place you have the this region you have the Israel. So this region becomes very important, and here you have the Gulf of Aqaba also. So important locations here is important, and we need to know this particular place, Sharm el Sheikh. It is in the news. Next article is related to deep sea and offshore fishing. This is important because of the recent Niti Aayog report on this particular thing, that is the strategy for the harnessing deep sea and the offshore fisheries by the Niti Aayog. Now what it is, first of all, why it is significant for India, deep sea and the offshore fisheries, why it is significant? As per this article report, what it says that, see, India have 2 million square kilometer of EEZ. What is EEZ? Exclusive economic zone. As you know, countries have certain area, that is the 200 nautical miles, as their exclusive economic zone. For example, if it is India, around 200 nautical miles we can have the exclusive economic zone. In this area, India or any country in their exclusive economic zone, they get the exclusive right to explore the economic potentials, like the minerals, like energy or the fisheries. That is called as the exclusive economic zone. Now we have the 2 million square kilometers, that shows the high potential for the fisheries. And we have the 11,098 kilometer of coastline. This coastline is around 11,098 kilometer. And third factor is that we are second largest fisheries producing sector country in the world. That shows its potential. Fourth point is that we produce 8% of the world production of fisheries, right? It gives 30 million employment. So from economic point of view, it gives employment, it has significant contribution in the export, and then it is second largest fish producing country. We have the huge potential. That's why this particular deep sea and the offshore fisheries becomes very, very important. Now, however, this sector is not, as per the report, not properly exploited, largely unexploited. Basically, we are not able to utilize it. So there are certain strategy proposed by this report. See, the strategy proposed are the simple points. For example, use of technology in fisheries. Second, we have to focus in the finance, that is providing the financial support to the fishermen in the form of formal credits. This is another point. Third is community engagement. Engage the community in fisheries, make them part of the planning. Fourth is change in the regulations, which are very, very restrictive, in order to enhance the production. Fifth point is that sustainability. Make sure that such fisheries do not harm the ecology. So these are the strategy proposed in this particular document released by the Niti Aayog. Last article, which is related to the mains, is estimation of India's potential GDP growth rate. See, what is the context? The context is, we have observed in the quarter 1 of 2025-26, quarter 1 GDP growth rate as 7.8%. However, the estimated growth rate is 6.5% by the different experts. That means we are growing higher than the expected or the estimated. Now the question is, does that mean India is surpassing its potential GDP? Is it surpassing its potential GDP? That is the question, and that is this particular article have discussed it. Now before going further, we need to understand what this potential GDP mean. See, potential GDP mean how much one economy can grow. What is its maximum potential within a stipulated time without impacting inflation? Without impacting inflation significantly. That is called as the potential GDP. That is how much potential a country is having to grow without impacting its inflation. That is called as the potential GDP. Now the question is India having its potential GDP, or is it able to achieve it or not? To understand this, one factor we need to remember how this potential GDP is achieved. See, there are two concepts we need to understand which is important to achieve the potential GDP. One is capital formation. Capital formation. Second is how efficiently this capital is formed. That is, efficiency of capital the form capital, how efficiently it is getting utilized, right? How efficiently it is getting utilized. Suppose you have created one road. How efficient it is? Are you able to move very fast or not? Or it's not very efficient infrastructure? So that will reduce the economic potential of that particular capital, right? So these two factors are important, which help in achieving the potential GDP. In the article discussed, in the given article, what it says that this indication that India is achieving 7.8% in the quarter one does not mean that it is surpassing the potential GDP of 6.5% for 2024-25-26. The reason given is that, see, this is the post-pandemic growth. Post-pandemic growth. If you observe 2022-23 and 2024-25, you see the 9.9% growth rate also in quarter one. That means 7.8 is lower than this 9.8. So this 7.8% growth rate is not unusual. It is even lower than the quarter one of this particular period. So it is the post-pandemic impact only. The second reason given is that the key manufacturing sectors like trade, finance, these sectors have shown decline, or you can say the below average growth. They have shown below average growth. That also shows that it has not able to achieve the potential growth. And what this particular article suggests is that, see, this particular article suggests, or the other argument it gives, is that our gross fixed capital formation rate, that is how much investment is made in capital formation. So it is a measure of investment out of the total GDP, right? So currently it is 33.6%. Currently it is around 33.6%. However, in the quarter one, it has observed around 34.6%, which is not very high than the average of 2022 till 2024. It is similar only. So we have not seen significant increase in the capital formation. As earlier we discussed that the potential GDP is determined by how much capital is getting formed. And we see that there is no significant increase in the capital formation, and hence we can say that the potential GDP has not significantly increased. We cannot interpret like that. The second factor is that the incremental capital output ratio. This factor, this concept, please remember, let's understand this. See, it is the capital is to output. Suppose you are investing 100 crore rupees, how much output it is able to generate? If it is generating, let's say, the 100 unit of output, that means the ratio is 1. However, if the same 100 crore investment is able to generate 50 unit of output, then the capital output ratio is 2. Now tell me which among these two conditions, 1, 2, is more efficient. Definitely 1 is more efficient, because with the same amount of investment it is able to generate more output. One thing we can understand from here is that the lower the capital output ratio, higher is the efficiency. As per the article, the incremental capital output ratio of India is around 5.2%, 5.2, which is higher. And since it is higher, the efficiency is lower. Okay, so this also signifies, indicates that there is not that increase in our GDP to achieve the potential GDP. Considering these two factors, that is the 33% capital formation rate and 5.2 incremental capital output ratio, the economists suggest that 6.5% potential GDP growth is fair. Okay, so this was the article, and their suggestion is to achieve the potential GDP or higher. Suggestion is that the capital formation should be 36%. 36%. And we to reduce this incremental capital output ratio, we have to invest on the technology, we have to invest on the artificial intelligence, so that we can get the more efficiency. So this was the article related to the economic. In order to summarize the what exactly it is want to say is that, see, recently we got the 7.8% growth rate in quarter 1. However, the potential GDP is 6.5%. The writer says that it's not we cannot infer from here that the growth rate is more than the capital out the potential GDP growth rate, because the two major indicator, that is the capital formation rate and the incremental capital output ratio, are stagnant only. So considering these two factors, the present estimation of 6.5% is correct. Okay, so this was today's discussion of 14th October. We have discussed 7 important articles related to the pre plus mains. The PDF of Paripurna you can get in the Telegram channel. And yeah, thank you so much for today's discussion.